All right, here we go. We are diving into the cards. The first birth card is the Magician. And the Magician is very grounded, but he also has access to more of the ethereal realm. And that's illustrated by his hand raised up into the air and then his other hand pointing down at the earth. And what he's doing, and you can tell this by the infinity sign over his head, is connecting the natural world with the ethereal world and using that energy to create whatever it is he wants to create. In front of him on the table, you're going to see four different objects, and those objects represent the four suits of the tarot. The circle or the disc with the pentacle in it is the sign of Pentacles, or discs, depending on the deck. The cup represents the suit of cups. There's a wand, basically a stick, that represents the suit of wands, and there's also a sword on the table. And those four objects represent earth, air, fire, and water. And those are the four elements that are necessary basically to create anything and to manifest anything in our physical world. So we can look at the Magician birth card as someone who is excellent at manifesting what it is they are trying to manifest. They know how to make things happen. They know instinctively that their energy is creating what they're trying to create. And these folks often have pretty ambitious goals to really, what do I want to say, to highlight their special skills, their sort of superpower of being such master manifestors. The strengths of the Magician are pretty cool. They have an opportunity, or they can see opportunity pretty much anywhere. They're very independent. They are creative problem solvers, and they're adventuresome folks. The magicians are not going to be the people that are standing in the back of the room watching, learning, and figuring out if they want to join in whatever's going on. The magician is more likely to be the one standing next in line, the one who says, oh my gosh, that looks so cool. I'm going to do that. I'm going to create that. I want to do that. So if you are a magician, you are probably fairly adventuresome. You might be a type A. You're creative. You're adventuresome. You probably are not overly concerned with what other people think about you. You are really good at working independently because you have all of the tools that you need, and you know that if you need help from someone else, you also are very comfortable and confident that you'll be able to find that. So you're great working on your own, but you don't have any problem calling someone in if you need some assistance. People are usually pretty darn impressed with your go get 'em attitude, with your drive, essentially. And they're also usually fairly impressed with your ability to problem solve. And again, because you have all of the tools in front of you, and because you are so confident in your ability to manifest, you're a great, great problem solver. So what are the challenges of the magician? Well, sometimes you can have a little bit of a problem focusing because there is a shiny thing over here and then there's a shiny thing over there, and you want to do all the things. So it can be a little bit challenging sometimes to maintain your focus. and actually finish a project. It can be difficult for you to slow down a little bit and enjoy and revel and connect because you're always so busy going, going, going. The energy that you expend, all of the mental energy that you expend, and all of the spiritual energy that you expend, or the etheric energy, can be tiring. So it's important for the magician to remember that they don't have to do it all. It's not their job. They are not the one and the only who can accomplish X. They need to remember to be willing to accept help and accept some support and maybe even listen to someone else's ideas. The other thing that can be a little bit of a challenge for the magician is not typically taking the time to connect with your inner being on a spiritual level. Because the magician is so tied into the physical world, while they can access the etheric world, if you're a real type A, zoom, zoom, zoom type of person, it can be difficult for you to remember even to connect with your inner spirituality, let alone set aside some time to do that. All right, relationships. What other birth cards might be a good relationship match for you? Well, the Chariot might be a good one. The High Priestess is another, and the Empress is another one. Honestly, it's difficult for the magician, for a true hardcore magician, to find a relationship that works for them sometimes, because they're so driven. They really can be oh my goodness, I don't even know how to articulate this. They can be a little pushy. They can be a little bit of a know-it-all. They can be the type that just says, let me alone. I want to do this. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. Let me go. And that's great in the business world. It's great in the world of any world where you're trying to accomplish something. But if you are trying to interact in a relationship, it can be a little bit tough. The Empress might be an all right option for you, because the Empress, and this is tough because you don't know the Empress yet, but you will. The Empress is very grounded as well. And she also spends a lot of time just in the moment, and she could potentially draw that element out of the magician in a way that could be helpful for them. And the other one that might be a good option would be the High Priestess. And that's because she is very intuitive. She's very inward looking, and she's almost his complement. She lives more in that energetic world where he lives more in that physical world. So they may work together in terms of being able to complement one another. And lastly, the career and lifestyle section. What types of careers are good options for the magician? Well, anything that requires an Energizer bunny, essentially. A business owner, perfect. You can control everything if you're a business owner. You can create anything you want. You can make it your own, and everybody has to do what you tell them to do because you're the boss. And that's perfect for a magician. Another area might be charities or social enterprises, because having a magician on a nonprofit team would be an amazing thing, especially if they are in the area of fundraising or any sort of marketing or social interaction, that type of thing. Magicians also are very good team leaders, although they do need to be able to step back and hear other people on occasion, because other people do have good ideas as well. The magician is a great inspirational speaker because they have access to the earthly realm, they have access to the ethereal realm, and they can honestly just kind of BS their way through things in a way that works for people. And they're fun to listen to. Okay. And then the last one is a consultant. And, again, that's similar to the business owner. A magician is a good consultant because they aren't afraid of what other people think. They don't have a problem going in and saying, well, yep, this is great, but I think it could be better and we could do this, that, or the other. So that is the magician. And if you're a magician, congratulate yourself. It's a cool card. Actually, these are all really cool cards. If you are not a magician and you really, really, really want to be a magician, then knowing these characteristics can help you cultivate some of the magicianness inside of you. And like I said earlier, we really are a combination of all of these birth cards. Most of us have pieces of each of these cards. It's just that we do have one dominant card. And this was the information for those who have the magician as their dominant card and their birth card. Next up, we will be talking about the high priestess.